criticizing the milkmen, the bunny brigade, name 5 beautiful black women. And then be honest, the first 2 or 3 that you thought of were light skin. The first 2 that immediately came to your mind were half white, Ethiopian, not even like really like black. Like immediately when you thought of 5 beautiful black women, you thought of 2 like caramel looking bitches.
I talked about this a while back in one of my other videos about African women and how their beauty is always questioned or challenged, or there's this insinuation that African women, specifically West African women of origin, cannot be beautiful. And as Sneako just demonstrated, he excluded East African women because from his perspective those individuals are not of African origin. Now when I say African origin, I'm referring to the term black. I personally don't use the term black anymore. I think it's insufficient to... It's just the word itself just doesn't really align with what I think anymore. So I tend to use the term African. I think that's a more universally accepted term from my perspective anyways. And so he's given off the same kind of like stereotypical ideology that people of West African origin are incapable of producing beautiful African women. And so when he obviously challenged his audience, he went and quickly jumped in and said, the first woman that you thought of is light-skinned. Which, if you're from the continent of America, that's probably true. But if you're outside of that country, it depends on where you are, really. And secondly, he also challenged the aspect that, I'm pretty sure you started thinking about, East African women. East African women are African women. They are what we consider, or what the Americans consider, black. This idea of trying to separate them is another tactic that they use to try and separate the concept of beauty with black women. And every time there is a woman who is of West African origin, aka whatever the concept of black is these days, they will always try to nitpick her or to try to say her phenotype or her features or her eye shape, whatever the case may be, is reminiscent of another ethnic group or another race, and they try as best they can to discredit all the natural features that can be found within West African women. Sneako's video is one of ignorance, if I'm being honest with you, and honestly over the past 2 years Sneako has proven to be a completely lost cause, but I wanted to still make the video to address it because I really didn't like the insinuation that came from that video, which is trying to say that women of West African ancestry or West African genetics are incapable of being beautiful. The reason why most people, not me anyways, I am beyond some of these guys, but the reason why most people may not be able to think of a beautiful West African woman is 2 things. And the second one is more of a conspiracy theory, but we'll get into that. The first one is simply you're just not exposed. You are not exposed to West African beauty. You're not exposed to Black Americans. I consider Black Americans a little bit of West African, an extension of us anyways. There's not enough of exposure to those types of women. And secondly, which I think is the conspiracy theory, is that the Western media makes an active effort to not only not show you beautiful women of West African background, but purposely show you women of West African background who are just not beautiful. And I think that's idea, that image gets seared into the minds of people, and they end up believing, I don't see women of West African background who are beautiful. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why at the beginning of the video, as you saw, I showed not only, maybe I might have shown a lot more, but definitely 5 women of West African background who are beautiful. Sneako is not a unique case. There's a lot of people in different parts of the world who truly don't believe that West African women can be beautiful, right? There is this notion, it's not even just that. I'll even go beyond and say that people don't think black people, I'll use the term black people for this video exceptionally. People don't think black people can be beautiful or handsome. They have this weird notion that, you know what I'm talking about, like when you see a beautiful, black person, right? The first thing people go is to say, oh wow, you have very Asiatic eyes, or you have a very Eurocentric face. They try and strip you of your African essence. And it's quite insulting because you are a product of tens of thousands of years of lineage, and that is all being stripped away from you simply because they don't accept the idea that Afrocentric features can be beautiful. There are many examples of people who come out from our community who hold a level of beauty that just is beyond words. It's just, that's the way I'll put it. We need to do a better effort as a people who hail from the West African background to showcase genuine beautiful women. We have to accept that not all of us are beautiful, right? When it comes to the European race, there are people who are just fucking ugly. When it comes to the Asian race, there are some people who are just ugly as fuck. Every race has ugly people, and every race has beautiful people. And what I've noticed is every race does a really good job in showcasing that beauty, as just pushing it, right? We need to do the same. It may not sound nice to some people, I don't care. We need to start showing the most beautiful West African women and really put them on the pedestal. Is what it is. The rest of us are just average. We are average looking people. We need to start putting those who are more beautiful up so people can see that we have beauty in our own region. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.